The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was filled with noise. Hundreds of alien voices spoke at once in different languages. Translators worked hard to change words from one language to another. The smell of different alien foods mixed in the air. Some council members ate strange fruits while others drank glowing liquids. Ambassador Sarah Chun stood at the speaking platform in the center of the hall. She was a tall woman with gray hair and calm eyes. Her blue uniform was clean and simple. No fancy decorations or shiny medals like the other ambassadors wore. She waited for the noise to stop. "Council members," she said in a clear voice, "I speak for all humans today." Most of the aliens did not look at her. They were too busy talking to each other about trade deals and mining rights. The Zilani were arguing about who could dig for crystals on the moon of Kepler-7. The Vorth were making plans to build new research stations. The Kree were complaining about pirate attacks on their cargo ships. Counselor Thex of the Zilani Empire was reading reports on his datapad. His blue scales shined under the bright lights. He had 4 arms and used all of them to hold different devices. Thex was important in the council. He made many decisions about money and trade. He did not think humans were very smart. "The human race has served this council for 300 years, Sarah continued. "We have protected your trade ships. We have stopped wars between your peoples. We have built hospitals and schools on your worlds." A few aliens looked up from their work. The Alteran ambassador moved her 6 eyes toward Sarah, but most kept doing other things. They heard humans talk like this before. Humans always wanted thanks for their work. But everyone knew humans liked to fight. That was their job. "We have asked for very little in return," Sarah said. "We asked only to be treated as equals, to have a voice in the decisions that affect all of us." The Vorth Admiral Vex made a sound like laughing. His gray tentacles moved in the water tank. That kept him alive. "Humans always complain," he said to his aide. "They do their job and then want praise like children." Sarah heard this, but her face did not change. She had been an ambassador for 20 years. She knew what these aliens thought of humans. They saw humans as useful tools. Nothing more. "Yesterday, this council voted on Resolution 4471, Sarah said. "This resolution will allow mining companies to destroy 3 planets where humans have lived for 50 years. 2 million human families will lose their homes." The council voted without asking any human representative. Counselor Thex finally looked up from his datapad. "The vote was legal," he said with a bored voice. "Humans are not full council members. They are military contractors. They do not vote on civilian matters." "Military contractors," Sarah repeated slowly. "Is that what you call us when we die protecting your children?" The hall became a little quieter. Some aliens stopped their side. Conversations. "Last month, Captain Rodriguez died saving a Zilani colony ship from pirates," Sarah said. "He could have saved himself but stayed to protect 800 Zilani families. Do you remember his name, Counselor Thex?" Thex looked uncomfortable. His scales changed from blue to purple. "Many brave beings serve the council," he said. "We honor them all. Do you?" Sarah asked. "Because yesterday you voted to give his home planet to a mining company. His wife and children must now find somewhere else to live." The hall was getting very quiet now. More aliens were listening. Sarah reached into her pocket and pulled out a small device. She pressed a button and a hologram appeared above her head. It showed human ships in space. Big ones and small ones. Warships with powerful weapons. Medical ships with red crosses painted on their sides. Research vessels with long sensor arrays. "For 300 years, humans have served faithfully," Sarah said. "We have asked for little. We have given much. We have bled for people who do not even know our names." The hologram changed. Now it showed human soldiers helping alien children in a refugee camp. Human doctors working in alien hospitals. Human teachers in alien schools? "But we will serve no longer," Sarah said. The hall became completely silent. Even the translator machine seemed to pause. "What did you say?" asked Counselor Thex. His 4 arms stopped moving. Effective immediately, humanity withdraws from all Council operations and treaties, Sarah said in a calm voice. All human military units will return to human space. All human civilians will leave Council worlds. All human-built facilities will be shut down or turned over to local authorities. Admiral Vex's tentacles thrashed in his water tank. You cannot do this, he said. You have contracts, legal obligations. Sarah smiled for the first time. It was not a happy smile. Please read Section 12 of the Military Service Agreement, she said. Either party may terminate the contract with 24 hours' notice. I am giving you that notice now. The aliens began talking loudly. Some sounded angry. Others sounded worried. The Kree ambassador stood up on his 6 legs. This is blackmail. He clicked in his insect voice. You want more money? No, Sarah said. We want nothing from you. We are simply leaving. Counselor Vex tried to look calm, but his scales were now dark purple. You are making a mistake, he said. Humans need the Council. You are a young race. You have much to learn from older, wiser peoples. Sarah looked around the Great Hall. She saw aliens who had lived for thousands of years but learned nothing about respect. She saw beings with great technology but small hearts, perhaps, she said. But we will learn on our own. She turned off the hologram and put the device back in her pocket. All human personnel have been notified, she said. Evacuation will begin in 6 hours. Facilities will be transferred to Council control within 72 hours. Wait, said the Alteran ambassador. Her 6 eyes blinked in different patterns. Let us discuss this. Perhaps we can find a solution. But Sarah was already walking toward the exit. Her footsteps echoed in the quiet hall. Ambassador Chun, called Counselor Vex, you cannot just leave. Who will protect the trade routes? Who will stop the pirate raids? Sarah stopped at the door. She did not turn around. That is no longer our problem, she said. Then she was gone. The Council members sat in silence for a long time. Finally, Counselor Vex spoke. Let them go, he sighed. Humans always were too emotional. They will come back when they need our technology and resources. Admiral Vex nodded his large head. Good riddance, he said. We can handle a few pirates without human help. But some of the older Council members looked worried. The Kithara delegate, who had lived for 3,000 years, remembered stories from long ago. Stories about things that lived in the dark. Spaces between stars. Things that only humans seemed able to fight. She said nothing. The others would not listen anyway. Within hours, the evacuation began. Human ships appeared at every Council station and outpost. They worked quickly and quietly. No arguments. No complaints. No demands for payment or compensation. The humans just packed their things and left. Medical stations that had saved millions of alien lives were abandoned. Defense platforms that had protected peaceful worlds for decades went dark. Research facilities that had made great discoveries were sealed shut. Humans left so quietly that many aliens did not notice until they were gone, but they would notice soon enough. 3 months had passed since the humans left. The Galactic Council tried to act like nothing had changed. They hired new security companies to patrol the trade routes. They built new medical stations to replace the human ones. They told themselves, everything was fine, but everything was not fine. Captain Zark of the merchant ship Golden Wind was learning this the hard way. His cargo vessel carried valuable spices from the outer rim to the core worlds. It was supposed to be a safe route. The humans had patrolled it for decades without any major problems. Now pirates were everywhere. Captain, shouted his communications officer. 3 ships coming fast from the asteroid field. Zark looked at his screens. The ships were painted black with red symbols, Keth Marauders. The worst kind of space pirates. They had been quiet for so long that many people forgot they existed. Send a distress call, Zark ordered. Council emergency frequency, his officer worked quickly. Message sent, Captain. But the nearest Council patrol is 6 hours away. Zark felt cold fear in his belly. 6 hours was too long. The pirates would catch them in 10 minutes. The Keth ships moved like hungry sharks. They spread out to surround the Golden Wind. Their leader, a ship called Death's Kiss, came close enough to talk. "Merchant vessel," came a rough voice over the radio. "Stop your engines and prepare to be boarded. Give us your cargo and maybe we let you live." Zark had heard stories about Keth pirates. They were cruel and violent. Even when merchants gave them everything, the pirates often killed them anyway. "We have nothing valuable," Zark lied. "Just food supplies." The pirate laughed. It was an ugly sound. "We know what you carry, spice merchant. Zilani fire spice worth 10 million credits. Now stop your ship or we start shooting." Zark looked around his bridge. His crew was young and scared. None of them had ever fought pirates before. The Golden Wind had only light shields and no weapons. It was built for carrying cargo, not fighting. "Captain," whispered his navigator, "what do we do?" Zark closed his eyes. He thought about his family back home. His wife and 2 children. If he died here, they would have nothing. "Cut the engines," he said quietly. The pirates boarded 20 minutes later. They were big, ugly creatures that looked like walking lizards. They carried energy weapons and moved with practiced skill. These were not amateur thieves. They were professional killers. The pirate captain had scars all over his face and arms. One of his eyes was replaced with a glowing red device. He smiled. When he saw Zark, "Smart choice, merchant," he said. "You live another day. They took everything. The expensive spices, the ship's emergency supplies, even the crew's personal belongings. But they did not kill anyone." Zark was surprised. "Why?" he asked the pirate captain. "Why let us live?" The scarred alien laughed. "Because the humans are gone," he said. "No more surprise attacks. No more hunting us across 3 star systems. We can take our time now, enjoy our work." After the pirates left, Zark sent another message to the council. This time he demanded to know where their protection was. The answer came 6 hours later. A single council patrol ship arrived at the attack site. The captain was a young Vorth officer who had never seen real combat. "We are sorry for the delay," the officer said. "We are still organizing our new patrol schedules." Zark stared at him. "New patrol schedules? Pirates just robbed my ship. They said they were going to attack more merchants." The Vorth officer looked uncomfortable. His tentacles wiggled nervously. "We will file a report," he said. "The council will investigate." But Zark knew the truth. The council had no idea how to fight pirates. The humans had made it look easy for so long that everyone forgot how hard it really was. The attack on the Golden Wind was just the beginning. Within 2 weeks, pirates hit 12 more merchant ships. The Keth marauders grew, bolder with each success. They attacked closer to council worlds. They took bigger ships. They demanded ransom for captured crews. Admiral Vex sat in his command center on the council's main military base. Reports came in every hour. More attacks, more stolen cargo, more frightened merchants. "Sir," said his aide, the Merchant Guild, "is demanding action. They say trade is becoming impossible." Vex's tentacles twisted with anger. "Send more patrol ships," he ordered. "We have already sent all available vessels," the aide replied. "The pirates are hitting multiple locations at the same time. Our ships cannot be everywhere." Vex studied the tactical display. Red dots showed pirate attacks across hundreds of star systems. His patrol ships were marked with blue dots. There were not enough blue dots. How did the humans handle this? He asked. His aide pulled up old records. Human patrols used small, fast ships with heavy weapons. They worked in groups of 3 or 4. When pirates attacked, they would surround them quickly. "Then we will do the same," Vex said, but it was not that simple. Council ships were big and slow. They were built for formal battles between organized fleets, not for chasing pirates through asteroid fields. The alien crews were trained for traditional warfare, not the wild and unpredictable fighting style that humans used. The first Council patrol to try human tactics was destroyed completely. Pirates lured them into an ambush and killed everyone. The second patrol lasted longer, but still lost 2 ships. Word spread quickly through the pirate networks. The Council forces were weak. More pirate groups came out of hiding. The Keth marauders were no longer alone. The Crimson Corsairs started raiding near Zalani space. The Void Reapers attacked research stations in the Outer Rim. Groups that had been quiet for decades suddenly became active again. Counselor, Vex called an emergency meeting. The Great Hall was much quieter than before. Many representatives looked worried and tired. The situation is becoming serious, Vex admitted. His blue scales had turned pale gray with stress. Trade revenues are down 30%. Insurance. Companies are refusing to cover ships in the Outer Rim. The Kree ambassador clicked his mandibles nervously. My people's cargo fleets have lost 17 ships this month, he said. We cannot continue to operate under these conditions. Admiral. Vex stood to address the council. His usually confident voice sounded strained. We are adapting our tactics, he said. New patrol routes are being established. Additional ships are being built. How long? Asked the Alteran representative. Her 6 eyes blinked indifferent. Patterns that showed great worry. 6 months for new ships, Vex replied. Perhaps a year to train proper crews. The hall erupted in angry voices. A year was too long. The economy would collapse before then. What about asking the humans to return? Suggested a small voice from the back of the hall. Everyone turned to look. It was the Kithra delegate, the ancient being who rarely spoke in council meetings. Councilor Vex's face grew dark. Absolutely not, he said. We will not beg for help. The humans left us. We will solve this problem ourselves. But privately, Vex was starting to worry. Reports kept coming in about things worse than pirates. Deep space monitoring stations had gone dark. Ships were disappearing in empty areas between star systems. Strange signals were being detected from regions that should have been empty. The humans had operated most of the early warning systems. Without them, the Council was blind to threats from deep space. Vex looked at the tactical displays in his private office. So many red warning lights. So many problems that seemed to grow worse each day. For the first time since the humans left, he wondered if they had made a terrible mistake. Outside his window, a merchant ship limped into port. Its hull was burned and scarred from laser weapons. Another pirate attack. Another sign that the galaxy was becoming a more dangerous place. Vex turned away from the window. He had too much pride to admit the truth that was becoming clear to everyone. They needed the humans back, but the humans were gone, and they had made it very clear that they were not coming back. 6 months after the humans left, the galaxy was falling apart. Dr. Arkila stood in her laboratory on Research Station Omega 7. She was a Vorth scientist who had worked with humans for many years. Now she was alone, trying to keep the station running, with half the staff she needed. Doctor, called her assistant from across the room. We are getting those strange readings again. Keela moved her tentacles across the control panels. The sensors showed something moving in deep space, something big. But every time they tried to get a clear picture, the signals disappeared. How far away? She asked. Maybe 3 light years? But doctor, the readings do not make sense. The object appears to be larger than a moon, but it moves faster than any known ship. Keela felt cold fear creep through her body. She had heard whispers about things moving in the dark spaces between stars, things that should not exist. Send a message to Council Command, she ordered. Tell them we need better sensors. The human-built detection array would have shown us exactly what we are looking at. But the human-built array was gone. The humans had taken it when they left, along with all their advanced technology. Her assistant looked sad. Doctor, I've been thinking, maybe we should contact the humans directly. Ask them to come back. Keela's tentacles drooped. She had been thinking the same thing? The Council has forbidden any contact with human space, she said. Besides, the humans have closed their borders. No one gets in or out. That was the strangest part of all. Humanity had not just left the Council. They had disappeared completely. Their space was surrounded by defense stations that stopped all ships. No trade, no communication. No visitors. It was like humans had decided the rest of the galaxy did not exist. Rumors said the humans were building something in their space. Huge construction projects that could be seen from long distance, but no one knew what they were building or why. Back on the council homeworld, Councillor Vex sat in his office reading reports that got worse every day. The economy was crashing. Pirates controlled most of the outer rim. Strange signals were coming from empty space. And now his own people were starting to question his leadership. "Sir," said his aide, "the Merchant Guild is here to see you." "They seem very angry," Vex sighed. "Send them in." 3 guild leaders entered his office. All of them looked tired and worried. Their leader, a tall Zilani named Kos, carried a data pad full of bad news. "Counselor," Kos said without any polite greeting, "we have lost 67 ships this month. Our insurance companies refuse to cover any routes outside the core worlds. Trade is almost completely stopped." Vex tried to look calm. "We are working on the problem. Admiral Vex has new patrol strategies." Kos laughed, but it was not a happy sound. "Admiral Vex lost 3 more ships yesterday. The pirates are laughing at our patrols. They attack whatever they want, whenever they want." "What do you want me to do?" Vex asked. "Contact the humans," Kos said simply. "Admit we made a mistake. Ask them to come back." Vex's scales turned dark purple with anger. "Never," he said. "We are not beggars. We will solve this ourselves." Kos leaned forward. "Counselor, with respect, you are living in a dream. The humans kept the peace for 300 years. Without them, everything is falling apart." After the merchants left, Vex sat alone in his office. He looked out the window at the city below. Even here, on the safest world in the galaxy, people were scared. Ships in orbit carried more weapons than before. Security patrols walked the streets day and night. A soft chime told him he had an urgent message. Vex opened it and felt his blood turn cold. The message was from Admiral Vex. Research Station Omega 7 had gone silent. No response to radio calls. No emergency signals, nothing. Vex immediately called Vex on the secure channel. "Admiral, what happened to the research station?" Vex's image appeared on the screen. His tentacles were moving in patterns that showed extreme stress. "We do not know, sir. The station was reporting strange readings from deep space. Then all communication stopped." "Send a ship to investigate?" "I already did." The ship arrived. "An hour ago. The station is ... Dawn." Vex felt his heart skip beats. "Gone? What do you mean gone?" "The entire station has disappeared. No wreckage, no debris, no sign that it ever existed. The only thing left is empty space." Vex sat down heavily in his chair. A research station with 3,000 people had simply vanished. How was that possible? "Sir," Vex continued, "there is something else. The investigating ship detected unusual energy readings in the area, readings that match some very old records." "What kind of old records?" Vex was quiet for a moment. "Records from the archive wars 10,000 years ago, before any of our civilizations existed. The energy signature matches something called Devourer technology." Vex had heard that name in ancient stories. Legends about machines that ate entire worlds. Most people thought they were just myths. "Are you saying the Devourers are real?" "I'm saying we have a serious problem," Vex replied. "And we might need help to solve it." Vex understood what Vex was not saying directly. They needed human help, but contacting humans would mean admitting they had been wrong. It would mean giving up their pride and position. Vex was not ready to do that. "Keep investigating," he ordered. "But say nothing to the other council members, not yet." Over the next few days, more research stations went silent. Deep space monitoring posts disappeared without trace. Ships sent to investigate found nothing but empty space where the stations used to be. The pattern was always the same. Strange energy readings, loss of communication. Then complete disappearance. Fear began to spread through the council worlds. People remembered old stories about things that lived in the dark, things that had come before and might come again. Councillor Vex called another emergency meeting. This time, the Great Hall was only half full. Many representatives had returned to their home worlds to organize defenses. "The situation has become critical," Vex announced. We have lost contact with 17 research facilities and monitoring stations. Our deep space surveillance network has been reduced by 60%. The remaining council members look scared. The Alteran ambassador spoke first. Counselor, we must face facts. Without the human early warning systems, we are blind to threats. From deep space? Without human rapid response fleets, we cannot investigate these disappearances safely. What are you suggesting? Vex asked, though he already knew the answer. Contact the humans, ask them to return. Other voices joined in agreement. Even the proud Vorth delegation nodded their support. The crisis was too big for pride. Vex felt the weight of leadership crushing down on him. Every choice seemed wrong. Contact the humans and admit failure. Or continue as they were and watch the galaxy fall apart. Very well, he said finally. I will send a diplomatic mission to human space. The relief in the room was obvious. Finally, someone was taking action, but Vex felt no relief. He had a terrible feeling that they had waited too long. The strange energy readings were getting stronger. More stations disappeared every day. And somewhere in the dark between stars, ancient things were waking up. Things that only humans seemed to know how to fight. The diplomatic ship was prepared quickly. Ambassador Keth, one of the most skilled negotiators in the council, was chosen to lead the mission. His job was simple: convince the humans to come back. But when the ship reached the edge of human space, they found something that shocked them. The human border was protected by defense stations unlike anything they had ever seen. The technology was far beyond what humans had possessed just 6 months ago. This is Ambassador Keth of the Galactic Council, he broadcast. We request permission to enter human space for urgent diplomatic talks. The answer came back immediately. It was in Ambassador Sarah Chun's voice, but the words were cold and final. Human space is closed to all council vessels and personnel. You are not welcome here. Keth, try it again. Ambassador Chun, we face a galaxy-wide crisis. We need to discuss the return of human forces to council service. There was a long pause. Then Chun spoke again. The time for talk has passed, Ambassador. You made your choice when you dismissed us as mere contractors. Live with the consequences. The communication ended. The human defense stations powered up their weapons as a clear warning. Keth's ship had no choice but to turn around and go home. The humans had refused to help. The galaxy was on its own. 8 months after the humans left, the galaxy learned what true fear meant. Admiral Vex stood on the bridge of his flagship, the mighty depth. His tentacles gripped the command rails as he watched his sensor screens. Something massive was coming. Out of deep space, not one ship, but hundreds of them. Sir, reported his sensor officer, the objects are approaching from 17 different directions at once. They will reach our outer defensive line in 6 hours. Vex had gathered every available council warship to defend the Vorth homeworld. 87 ships in total. It was the largest fleet he had ever commanded. But looking at the enemy numbers on his screen, he knew it would not be enough. What do we know about these ships? He asked. His intelligence officer checked her data. They match no known design, sir. The energy readings are impossible. Their ships seem to bend space around them. Our physics experts say their technology should not work. Vex remembered the old records about the Devourers, ancient machines that had destroyed civilizations 10,000 years ago. Everyone thought they were just stories. Now those stories were coming to kill them all. Sir, called his communications officer, we are receiving a transmission from the lead enemy ship. Put it on screen. The image that appeared made everyone on the bridge step backward. It was not alive, but it was not just a machine either. The thing looked like it had once been organic, but now it was made of black metal and glowing red circuits. Parts of its face moved like living flesh, but other parts were clearly mechanical. When it spoke, its voice sounded like grinding metal, mixed with screaming wind. Biological entities, it said, you have forgotten your place. 10,000 years ago, we cleansed this galaxy of inferior life. Now we return to finish the work? Vex found his voice. What do you want from us? The creature's red eyes glowed. Brighter? Want? We want nothing from you? You are resources to be consumed, raw materials to build more of our kind. Your worlds will be stripped clean. Your people will be processed into useful components. We will fight you, Vex declared. The thing that might once have been alive made a sound like laughing. You will. Try, but you are weak, divided, leaderless. The guardian species has abandoned you. Without them, you are nothing but prey. The transmission ended. Vex felt cold fear in his heart. Guardian species? Did the creature mean humans? But there was no time to think about it. The enemy fleet was moving fast. Too fast. All ships. Vex broadcast to his fleet, prepare for battle. Fight with honor, die with purpose. The first engagement happened near the ice moon of Kellara. 12 council ships met 20 enemy vessels. The battle lasted exactly 4 minutes. Captain Zos of the destroyer Quick Strike fired everything he had at the nearest enemy ship. His plasma cannons, torpedo launchers, and particle beams all hit their target at the same time. The enemy ship did not even slow down. Impossible, Zos shouted. Our weapons went right through their hull. His science officer was checking readings frantically. Captain, their ships are not completely solid. They seem to exist in normal space and some other dimension at the same time. Our weapons cannot hit what is not fully there. Before Zos could respond, the enemy ship fired back. A beam of dark energy struck the Quick Strike. The ship did not explode. It simply stopped existing. One moment it was there, the next moment there was empty space. The same thing happened to the other council ships. Dark energy beams unmade them at the basic level of reality. 11 ships died in 4 minutes. Only one escaped to report what happened. Admiral Vex received the report with growing horror. His weapons could not hurt the enemy. Their weapons could destroy his ships instantly. This was not a battle, it was an execution. Sir, said his tactical officer, the enemy fleet has split into 3 groups. They are heading for our main colony worlds. Vex looked at the tactical display. The Devourers were moving to attack billions of innocent people. His job was to protect them. But how could he fight an enemy he could not hurt? All ships, he ordered, intercept course. We will stop them or die trying. But before his fleet could move, something terrible happened on the planet below. The Vorth homeworld had a population of 4 billion people. It was covered with beautiful crystal cities that floated above vast oceans. The people were proud of their civilization and their achievements in science and art. In less than an hour, none of that mattered. Devourer ships appeared in orbit without warning. They had moved through space faster than any scanner could detect. Their first action was to send down strange machines that looked like metal spiders the size of buildings. These machines began eating everything they touched: buildings, trees, vehicles, people. Everything was consumed and broken down into basic materials. The materials were then sent back to the Devourer ships. Dr. Keela, who had survived the loss of her research station, was on the homeworld visiting her family. She watched from her apartment window as the metal spiders consumed the city around her. We have to run, she told her young daughter, but there was nowhere to run. The spiders were everywhere. They moved faster than any vehicle. They could climb walls and swim through water. And they were always hungry. Keela saw her neighbor try to escape in his flying car. A spider jumped 50 meters into the air and caught the car in its metal jaws. The car and the neighbor disappeared into the spider's processing chamber. Seconds later, refined metals and other materials came out of tubes on the spider's back. The neighbor had been turned into raw materials. Admiral Vex and his fleet arrived too late. By the time they reached the homeworld, the planet was almost completely consumed. Where crystal cities had once stood, there were now only gray processing facilities. The beautiful oceans had been drained and processed. Even the air was being collected and refined. 4 billion people had become building materials for the Devourer fleet. Vex stared at the remains of his homeworld and felt his sanity breaking. Open fire, he whispered. Sir, our weapons cannot hurt them, his tactical officer reminded him. I said open fire. Vex screamed. The fleet fired everything they had at the Devourer ships. Thousands of missiles and energy beams struck the enemy. Vessels, the attacks passed right through them like they were shooting at ghosts. The Devourers did not even bother to shoot back. They were too busy processing the remains of the planet. "Sir," reported his sensor officer, "enemy fleets are attacking the Zelani homeworld and the Kree capital system. Same pattern, complete consumption of all organic and manufactured materials." Vex closed his eyes. Trillions of people were dying, while he watched helplessly. His entire civilization was being eaten alive by ancient nightmares. "Send a message to all surviving Council forces," he ordered. "Full retreat to the core worlds, abandon everything else." But even as he gave the order, Vex knew it was useless. The core worlds would fall just like the others. The Devourers were too strong, too advanced, too alien to fight with conventional weapons. As his ship limped away from the dead homeworld, Vex remembered the creature's words. "The Guardian species has abandoned you." Guardian species, humans. For the first time, Vex understood the truth. Humans had not just been military contractors. They had been the galaxy's protection against things like the Devourers. Things that normal civilizations could not fight, but humans were gone. And without them, every living thing in the galaxy was going to die. On the bridge of the last Vorth warship, Admiral Vex sent one final message into space. It was addressed to humanity, though he knew they probably would not listen. "To the humans of Earth," he broadcast, "we were wrong. We understand now. You were never our servants. You were our guardians. We are sorry. We are all going to die because of our stupidity. But maybe you can save someone. Please." The message flew toward human space at the speed of light. Vex did not expect an answer. Behind him, another world died as ancient machines fed on everything that had once been alive. The galaxy was ending, one planet at a time. The galaxy was dying. Counselor Vex sat in his emergency bunker deep beneath the Council homeworld. Above him, billions of people ran in panic as Devourer ships appeared in the sky. The beautiful towers and floating gardens of the capital city were being consumed by metal spiders. His entire civilization was being eaten alive. Reports came in from across the galaxy. Every major world was under attack. The Zelani Empire had fallen in 3 hours. The Kree colonies were gone. The proud Alteran fleet had been destroyed without firing a single effective shot. "Sir," said his aide, her voice shaking with fear, "we are receiving an evacuation signal." Vex looked up from the disaster reports. "From which fleet?" "Sir, it is not from any Council forces. The signal is coming from a human ship." Vex felt his heart stop beating for a moment. "A human ship? Here?" "Put it on screen," he ordered. The image that appeared was familiar. Ambassador Sarah Chun sat in the command chair of a sleek vessel that looked unlike any human ship Vex had ever seen. The technology was clearly far beyond what humans had possessed 8 months ago. "Counselor Vex," Chun said in her calm voice, "this is Ambassador Chun of the Terran Federation. We are offering immediate evacuation to all civilian populations on your world." Vex stared at her. You came back?" Chun's expression did not change. "We came to save lives, nothing more." "But the Devourers," Vex said, "they are too powerful." "Your weapons cannot hurt them either." For the first time, Chun smiled. It was not a cruel smile, but it was not warm either. "Counselor, you never understood what humans really are. You saw us as useful soldiers. But we are something much more important than that." On the screen behind Chun, Vex could see the bridge of her ship. Human crew members worked at stations filled with technology that seemed almost magical. Weapons that bent light. Shields that existed in multiple dimensions. Engines that moved faster than physics should allow. "How?" Vex whispered. "We have been fighting the Devourers for 50,000 years, Chun explained. "Long before we met. Long before we joined your council. Our ancestors came from a galaxy where these machines consumed everything. We learned to fight them. We learned to beat them. That knowledge is in our blood." Vex realized the terrible truth. Humans had not come from the normal evolution of planets. They were refugees from an ancient war. Survivors who had spent thousands of generations learning to fight an enemy that normal civilizations could not defeat. The early warning systems you built, he said slowly, they were not to watch for pirates. They were watching for the devourers, Chun confirmed. Every patrol route we flew, every research station we built, every defense platform we placed, all of it was designed to keep the galaxy safe from this threat. And we threw you away, Dex said, feeling sick with shame. Chun nodded. You did. But we are not vindictive people, Counselor. We will not let innocent civilians die because their leaders made foolish choices. Through the bunker's thick walls, Dex could hear explosions and screaming from the city above. The devourers were getting closer. What do you want from us? He asked. Nothing, Chun replied. We want nothing from you. We are here to save who we can save. After that, you will make your own choices about the future. The evacuation began immediately. Human ships appeared throughout the galaxy like ghosts, materializing from empty space. They moved between devourer fleets without being detected. Their cloaking technology was perfect on the dying Vorth homeworld. Dr. Keela hugged her daughter as a human transport landed near their ruined city. The pilot was a young human woman who smiled kindly as she helped alien families aboard. How many can you take? Keela asked. Everyone, the pilot replied. We will make as many trips as needed. Keela could not believe it. The humans were risking their lives to save people who had treated them like servants. People who had dismissed them and insulted them. Why? She asked. The pilot looked sad. Because it is the right thing to do. Because someone has to stand between the darkness and the light. That someone has always been us. The evacuation ships worked for days without rest. Millions of people were saved from dying worlds. The humans asked for nothing in return, no payment. No apologies. No promises of future cooperation. They just saved lives because lives needed saving, but the devourers were not stupid. They noticed the evacuation ships and began hunting them. Ancient war machines turned their attention from consuming planets to destroying the rescue vessels. That was when the galaxy saw what humans really were. Admiral Vex, commanding the last Council fleet from his damaged flagship, watched in amazement. As human warships engaged the Devourer forces, these were not the same ships that had served the Council for 300 years. These vessels were larger, faster, and armed with weapons that seemed to ignore the laws of physics. A human battleship called the Defiant engaged 3 Devourer cruisers at the same time. The enemy ships tried to use their phase-shifting technology to avoid damage, but the human weapons adjusted automatically, striking targets in multiple dimensions at once. The Devourer ships exploded in bursts of dark energy. Impossible, Vex whispered. How are they hurting them? His sensor officer was studying the readings frantically. Sir, the human weapons are using some kind of quantum disruption technology. They are forcing the enemy ships to exist in normal space where they can be damaged. Vex watched as more human ships arrived, hundreds of them. Then thousands. Each one more advanced than anything he had ever imagined. They moved like dancers through space, coordinating their attacks with perfect precision. The Devourers, who had seemed unstoppable just hours before, were suddenly fighting for their lives. The battle raged for 3 days. Human fleets appeared throughout the galaxy, striking Devourer forces wherever they were found. The ancient machines tried to retreat to deep space, but the humans followed them. No mercy was shown. No quarter was given. This was not just a battle. It was extermination. On the 4th day, the last Devourer ship was destroyed. The galaxy was silent except for the gentle hum of human rescue operations. Ambassador Chion's ship appeared above the Council homeworld one final time. The planet was scarred but not destroyed. The human fleet had arrived just in time to save most of the population. Dex met with Chun on her ship. The human vessel's technology was so advanced that he felt like a primitive savage standing in a temple built by gods. Thank you, he said simply. Chun nodded. The immediate threat is over. But Counselor, you need to understand something. This will happen again. The Devourers always return. Usually every 10 to 15,000 years. Will you stay to protect us? Vex asked, though he already knew the answer. No, Chun said. We offered our protection for 300 years. You rejected it. You called us contractors and servants. You took our sacrifice for granted. Vex felt tears running down his scaled face. What happens now? Chun was quiet for a moment, then she handed him a small device. This contains the locations of refugee camps where your people are being cared. We will provide food, medical care, and transportation to safe worlds. After that, you rebuild your civilization however you choose. And humanity? Humanity will continue to do what we have always done. We will stand guard against the darkness. We will protect those who cannot protect themselves. But we will do it on our terms, not as anyone's servants. Shun walked toward the door, then stopped. Counselor, there is something else you should. No. Every species we have saved today will be offered a place in the Terran Federation. Equal citizenship. Full rights and protections. The choice is theirs to make. Vex understood. The humans were offering something the Council never had. True equality. Will you consider returning to serve the Council? He asked desperately. Chun looked back at him with eyes that held 50,000 years of war and sacrifice. Counselor, there is no council anymore. Your government fell the moment you could not protect your people. What comes next is up to the survivors. But surely we can work together, Vex pleaded. Form a new alliance, perhaps, Chun said. But if we do, it will be as equals. Not as your military contractors, not as your servants. As partners who share both the costs and benefits of civilization. She paused at the doorway. The age of taking humanity for granted is over, Counselor. If you want our friendship, you will have to earn it. Then she was gone. Vex stood alone in the advanced human ship, surrounded by technology that represented hope for the future. But that future would only come if the survivors could learn from their mistakes. Outside the windows, human ships continued their rescue operations, saving lives, asking for nothing in return except the chance to do what was right. The galaxy had learned a terrible lesson about the price of arrogance. Some of them, at least, would remember it.